Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That's Eric over there.
Hello.
That's Vanessa over there.
Hello.
I'm Kelly. Hey guys, so glad that we are doing this in person again. So this is nice. This will all make more sense when we get to my pick for the film, but I had a very strange Cronenbergian thing happen, and I ran out of peanut butter.
Okay. I don't know how that's Cronenbergian yet.
Well,
Take me on a journey.
do you know how a story works? I start at the beginning, and I give you more information.
All right. You've really hyped it, though.
So I'm watching this Cronenberg movie, lots of body horror and all this stuff, and I'm like, I need something to munch on. But the problem is I keep no munchies in the house, otherwise I will just eat them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what am I going to eat? I don't want to make a burger or anything like that. Peanut butter sandwiches, right?
Okay, sure.
Particularly toast, peanut butter on toast. I can eat like an entire loaf of bread if I do this.
Yeah.
But I don't have peanut butter. And then I remember, hey, you know, my mom gave me a gift for Christmas that consisted of a lot of little funny things. And one of those things, you guys, was Skippy in a squeeze tube.
Oh my God.
Skippy peanut butter in a squeeze tube. Now, I know the listeners are probably saying, Kelly, choosy moms choose Jif. But I don't think that my mom really picked this out for me as a real present. My mom likes to give kind of goofy presents. And everything.
Sure.
Anyway, I was like, okay, this is all I've got, so I'm going to pop it open and use it. Now, as you can see, it's in this little package here with a very small nozzle.
Yeah.
You poop it out
Ew.
on your bread.
Ugh.
Vanessa, this would probably look very familiar to you right now because it is a tiny little thin thing. It looks nothing less like, it looks like nothing more than a turd that you are curling out onto your toast.
Oh my God.
I will say this, Skippy, not very good. A lot of sugar in this peanut butter. It's a very sweet tasting peanut butter. Did the job for me, but after watching the Cronenberg stuff and putting this on, I was kind of like, ugh. I'll have you know that I went out and bought Jif peanut butter.
You know what?
in a can.
I almost was going to say, did she buy you Skippy because there was that big recall on Jif and you couldn't buy it for like months and months and months at one point?
Listen, I didn't want to make this all about peanut butter, but what is the problem with Jif comes in, I like the creamy because I'm old. I don't need something to break my teeth.
What's wrong with you? Crunchy is by far the best.
Of course, when you're a young person like yourself.
I tend towards the creamy as well.
Oh my God.
So, but here's the thing. Jif Crunchy in a big jar.
Mhm.
Yes.
Jif Creamy only in the small jar.
Depends what store you're at.
I don't believe that's true. I've never been able to find a Jif Creamy in a big jar.
I think Costco. I know what I'm going to get you for your next birthday or Christmas celebration.
I'll take it. Certainly got to be better than a DVD in my freezer.
That was...
God knows what kind of movie at that
that's
point, too.
the gift that keeps on giving. That's different.
Anyway, Mom, thanks. I've only saved the last of this as a talking point. This goes right in the trash.
Oh.
But it was there when you needed it most.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it was as I'm squeezing it out and everything. And it makes a sound, too, when it comes out. It's,
God. Man, all kinds of body horror, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time she should get you those Crustables.
Yeah,
Frozen
just put them in the
peanut butter and jelly
freezer.
things with the
What,
crust cut off.
Oh, I'm not familiar with these.
I've never had them, but I've seen them a lot in the store.
People love them. People
Do they?
absolutely love them. They're freezer peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So you just pop them in the toaster and you're ready to go.
Well, I hope
Sponsored
that we get
by-
some sponsorship out of this.
Come on, peanut butter people, give us some money, please.
Oh, you guys, I am in a lovely mood, and I just want to say thanks for coming out. So
Excellent.
This is fun.
I can't tell if there's sarcasm.
There's no sarcasm.
Yay!
Life is good. Life is good. I've seen some pretty cool stuff. So I've got a couple of things that I actually like to talk about today.
Nice.
And one of
Oh.
them is a movie called Stop Motion.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I saw an ad for it and I was like, this looks too much for me.
Have you seen the?
I've seen things on it. If I first thought it was a documentary about
No.
stop motion.
No, it's about a woman whose mother was kind of a famous stop motion animator,
Okay.
but she was also a real shitty mother and made her daughter help with all the stop motion stuff
Oh.
in a very demanding way and everything. Well, when the mom, she's got like arthritis or something, so she can't do it anymore, and the woman decides she's going to finish her film. But then I don't know if this is A24. Feels like an A24. It's got kind of a slow build to it, but it is very, very creepy. Stop motion in itself is just very creepy
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah.
And her life starts to kind of take on this stop motion feel as she's animating this film. And she's got this little girl who's feeding her ideas of how she can make this thing better. And
Ugh.
it's very creepy. And I ended up liking it quite a bit.
Huh.
It was a rental, but I think I saw the Shudder logo on it, so I think it's got to be coming to Shudder
Oh,
very
cool.
quickly.
Oh.
And I just really, really loved it. Stop
Watch for
motion.
that. That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. Well, I finally checked out Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, you
Fuck,
did?
man, I want to see that so damn
Yeah.
bad. I spent so much time in 2023 trying to find a place to watch that because I wanted to do it for the end of the year. But what did you think of it?
Well, first of all, the way I found it was by going to the theater
Yeah.
because they actually had a limited run. So, yeah, I felt really, really lucky. And it's really excellent, especially if you like Ghost Watch or, as you guys know, I love WNUF Halloween
Yeah.
Special. It
That's
has
a
that vibe.
Interesting combination of source material you're getting there. It's like UHF and Ghostwatch.
Oh, no, not UHF.
Or not you, whatever that.
Yeah.
thing
No,
is.
it's just got that kind of live TV special vibe about it. And it's just, it was really, really fun. I think they did an incredible job with a very limited budget. And it definitely has a pretty spectacular third act.
Ah.
So
Cool.
I'm looking forward to you guys seeing it. I think it's coming out on Shudder very
I
soon.
believe it's April 17th or
Or
14th.
22nd?
Is it that late?
I think it is, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one a lot, too. I've heard a lot about it.
Well, I will say that the hype is real. I think that you guys will enjoy it.
Cool. Guess what I watched? Whose director's movies I watched?
Oh, God.
It's got to be
Walter Hill.
Walter Hill, yes.
Brewster's Millions.
Oh, my
Oh,
God, I forgot he
wow.
directed that.
Yeah, I was like, I was looking at his IMDb and going, really? Brewster's Millions, huh? A really frustrating film to watch
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. Not because
Huh.
it's not good, but because Richard Pryor is such a likable guy on screen. And he's going through so much misery and shit in this movie. You want him to just tell, like, go ahead, you can take the storyline is he's gonna given $3 million. I think he has to spend in a month, and if he does that, he inherits $30 million.
Right.
Mm.
But he can't tell anyone about it. He can't have anything to show for himself by the end of the 30 days.
Oh.
So he has to just burn through $3 million. And or 30 million, I don't remember. Anyways, but I'm like, just tell John Candy or somebody, just pull him aside. He won't. It's just so frustrating. And then in the grand 80s fashion, you hit that end and it just ends.
Oh.
You know, it's like I wanted just a few moments after that ending to experience what happened for the end instead of and done. It's like, well, shit. But that's a very 80s thing.
Yeah.
Like no post thing unless they do the flashback. So and so, like Animal House. So and so went on, but nope, not even that. But
How does the humor hold up?
pretty good. It's not. It's surprisingly lacking in any kind of racist jokes and
Oh.
stuff.
Oh, good.
There's it actually has a very, very relevant storyline in the middle of it where he figures out the best way to burn through money and have nothing to show for it is to run for mayor of New York.
Oh
Right.
my God.
And he runs as vote for nobody.
Right.
And the whole thing is both candidates suck. Just vote for nobody. And of course, that makes him unbelievably popular.
Oh no.
So that aspect of the movie I enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was really well done and a lot of fun to watch. But it was just like him being so likable. You just went, poor guy's just going through the shit, man. And it's for such a good reason.
That's based on an old movie that is
Yeah.
very similar, and I'll bet you that's why there's so little racist humor, is because the old movie was two white guys, and I think this movie follows some of the dialogue even right to the original.
Yeah.
I remember very little. I saw this in theater.
Oh, okay.
I remember liking that Vote for Nobody. And I remember at one point, the thing is, he can buy all sorts of stuff with his money, but he can't own anything.
Yeah, he can't have anything to show for it. At the end of
Right.
the
So
month.
he buys that super valuable stamp, and they think that they've got him because he's invested
That was
in
awesome.
a stamp. And then he sends them a postcard, and he's sent this $1 million stamp as the postage.
That was a great scene.
That's so good.
Brewster's Millions. Okay, the other thing that I watched then, I just started watching, I'm on episode 4 of 6, and it is called Parasyte the Grey on Netflix.
Oh.
No, this one.
Parasyte, Parasyte.
Okay.
And it is this kind of alien invasion movie where aliens have been among us and they have been kind of taking us over. I hope that it's going to be a little bit more detailed than what they say their plan is, which is to infiltrate the human race and then eat us. And I kind of want it to be a little more than that, because these creatures, they look like humans and everything, but when they reveal themselves, their heads just kind of split open and turn into these huge tentacles and start whipping around. And it's really, really cool looking. Some very Lovecraftian imagery, but no real cosmic horror, unless it becomes something more than they just want to eat us.
Yeah.
But really, really watchable. It's Korean. And I'm just loving it. The effects are great. There's some really interesting stuff I saw in this that I imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of as drone camera operators get better, because there is a couple of scenes where there's a motorcycle chase through a crowded market area. And you can tell there's a drone doing the footage and whipping around. And every once in a while it wobbles a little bit. And you're like, oh, this is a real camera. This is really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. I wonder how many takes something like that does. But yeah, Parasyte the Grey on Netflix.
With the drone stuff, you ever seen that stuff? It's probably on YouTube or something with drone races.
Yeah.
And the shit they put cameras on them for that, and they're just whipping through like abandoned malls and stuff.
Oh my
It's
God.
really cool.
That's so fun. I want to check that out. Well, I've been watching a lot of random stuff on the Disney app just to keep myself awake. My child has noticed the TV now, and she's like obsessed, like truly obsessed with it. So I'm trying to utilize this as little as possible, other than trying to like keep her awake at times. But the other day I put on Into the Woods, which I'd never seen. It's a Disney musical.
The Broadway. Is it the play or the movie version?
It's the movie version. Yeah, it's the adaptation, because I really enjoy Chris Pine, and I was like, I just want to see what he does in here, and I've never actually seen this thing before. Fucking sucks, man.
The Broadway plays, I haven't seen the movie version. The Broadway play was released on video years ago, and it was pretty good. It was pretty solid stuff.
Why do people like this thing? It's like horrible. It's like a horrible, I mean, like the journey is fine. And then like it takes a really big swerve partway in that feels odd. And then the ending just sucks. And I was like, why?
Yeah, I don't know if it's completely different from the Broadway one or if it is the same. And you
What's
just didn't
the
like it.
premise?
The premise is you have a bunch of those like storybook characters, Jack and the Beanstalk, Little Red Riding Hood. There's a couple that want a baby, but they can't because there's a curse on them. And the way to lift the curse is to gather 4 items for this witch. And they're all from these classic stories. So they have to get Little Red Riding Hood's like red cloak. They have to get Rapunzel's golden hair. They have to gather all these things within a certain period of time, and then they'll be able to have a child. So you end up running into all these different characters, and they're all starting with the "I Wish" song, and then, you break in, and they're running around trying to get Cinderella's slipper, and fighting these different people for it, and trying to trick them into it, and finally they get the items, but other bad things happen, and then really it's about family, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure what it's about in the end. It's about a sad, crappy ending is what it's about in the end.
Wow.
I was just like, what? I don't know. I watched it to the end and was like, I don't fucking get it, man. Like, I do not. Like, you get a lot of celebrities who can sing okay. Meryl Streep looks incredible in it. She's the witch. She's a great job. Lots of great actors. You got Anna Kendrick's in there, but fuck, man, why? I don't know.
Well, the Broadway people could sing fairly well, so that was better.
It was, yes, the Broadway. I can imagine the Broadway version being better, but that gives me very little hope for when they do that Wicked adaptation, which should be coming out in not too long. So
I'm very weird with Wicked. I didn't really know what it was about when it came out in the book. It was giant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so is this just basically they're pretending that the Wicked Witch is nice? And so I read like 40 pages going, I don't care.
right,
But I know a lot of people really, really love that
they did.
story.
Yeah. I read the book and saw the play, and it was fine. Totally fine.
And another Wilder Hill film,
Oh no! Why?
Dead for $1.
Not familiar with this one.
This was a Western he did a few years ago. And it's even more frustrating than Brewster's Millions because there are moments that it feels like this is going to be really good.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, I'm enjoying this. Oh, this is a cool movie. And then 2 or 3 minutes later, I'm going, and this kind of sucks. And that happened throughout the whole film. It was really weird.
No.
And I think it's starring the guy who played the Nazi in Quentin Tarantino's film. Really great actor.
Yeah. Christoph
Waltz.
Waltz. Thank you.
Yeah. So the performances are all good. Everything's good, but it's just weird. And it's shot almost beyond like Godfather yellow. It is really, really a yellow, like sepia tone, almost heavy film, which is fine. It's a Western, but yeah, it was very frustrating because that wave just kept going. I'm going, oh, okay, cool. Now I'm liking this. Now it's going to get better. Okay, nope, no, all right. Oh, cool shit's happening. This is okay. No, it's really, really weird.
That's so frustrating.
It's a very weird watching experience, and I could imagine because of that, there are people that love this film and
Yeah.
people that hate this film.
Yeah.
There's probably not a lot of odd people like me that sit in the middle going, well, I liked half of it and I hated half of it.
Yeah.
Is this the end of your Walter Hill viewing, or are you committed to watching every single Hill film now?
I'll probably
Wow.
finish it out. Right now, with the festival going on, festival prep going on and stuff, I'm not watching much of anything.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes for our next few things. I'll see what I can pull off.
Yeah, we
before
got
we
Crypticon coming up very quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you send out the things. Oh man, I'm way behind, but things are going well. And I was like, oh, I gotta wait for filmmakers to respond to me now.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And there's that initial wave where it's more than half responded, and then it's like, come on, people.
nudge,
I'm gonna be
nudge.
bugging you guys this year. Send another email next day. Send another one. But other than that, good stuff there. Maybe I'll talk about one of those films if I can't talk about anything else. Mysterious Ways, maybe.
Ooh, I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Yeah, come out and see us if you're going to Crypticon, because we'll be doing another live show there, and this time we're doing a deep dive
Saturday afternoon.
I
think
it's
it's 3.
3.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and we're talking about The Howling.
Which very, very off-brand for us. It'll be the first year that we don't talk about a John Carpenter
Oh,
movie.
I know. I had Starman all lined up for So, but
Oh,
who would have
don't
showed up to
do
hear
it.
Starman? We'll have to make that a special episode of the regular show.
That
Yeah,
would
there
be
you go.
very good. I mean, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So, just saying.
Yeah, but John Carpenter's not going to be at Crypticon.
I know that is the difference. Joe Dante is going to be at
So,
Crypticon,
yeah, even in
so
Seattle, there'll be some Joe Dante, but that'd be cool if Carpenter showed up, but
I don't think
he
he
doesn't
ever
do a
will.
lot of them.
No.
No.
Texas Frightmare, I think, is the only one I remember him doing.
You have to give him a lot of money for him to do
Probably,
anything.
yeah.
So there's going to be some good incentive.
Yeah. Well, all right, gang. Why don't we take a little break? And then when we come back, we are talking about films with broadcasts in them.
See these two portable radios? Well, watch this. Let her go, Betsy. Sorry, friend. You old-style portables have to go. But look at our new RCA Victor portable radio. Came through without a chip. Here's the world's first and only portable radio in the non-breakable impact case. So rugged, it's the only radio case with a 5-year guarantee against chipping, cracking, or breaking in normal use. Of course, a tube might jar loose, but that's easily fixed. The important thing is RCA Victor's non-breakable impact case means no chipping, no cracking, no breaking. And hear that tone. It's RCA Victor's great golden throat sound. See the world's only portables with the non-breakable impact case as low as $27.95 at your RCA Victor dealers.
And we're back. Eric, this was your genre pick.
Yes.
You want to tell us what you were thinking?
Yeah, the idea is a movie that has broadcast significance. Like it's a TV, radio, alien signal. Something needs to be a prominent part of it, sort of like Poltergeist or Independence Day or
Sure.
something like
Okay.
that. So I went with a very recent film, 2023. Nope, that's not it. 2023 Lola.
Come on. Miss Hadbury, your sister is her mysterious invention, Lola.
Lola is a system of electrical processes which allows us to observe broadcasts from the future.
This is magnificent, it's beautiful.
It's going to change history.
This is the true magic.
Movies, royal weddings, a musical rebellion, signals beamed around the world.
Because of this pioneering work.
This marks a huge turning point in the war against Nazi Germany.
Tom, you are more brilliant than even you know, and also more dangerous.
We're under sustained attack. 6 German destroyers, 45 heavy air bombardment.
Early this morning, catastrophe struck Britain.
Why has it suddenly changed?
The adjustment of variables could lead to a new set of consequences.
I don't understand.
The maliciously false intel resulted in this country being invaded.
We have to leave.
Lola was never meant to be an instrument of violence.
Can we undo this?
Either heard of this one?
No.
I don't think I've seen this one.
It did the festival thing last year, won some awards and that kind of stuff. Release here, 2023. Rotten Tomatoes score of 97 for critics and 65 for crowd. Oh, sure. Which is oddly similar to the Robinson Crusoe, where if you subtract, I think, 3 from each or 4 from each, you get 94 and 62 for Robinson, and this one's 97 and 65.
Wow.
Robinson
This-
Crusoe on Mars, which
yeah.
was your pick from last week.
Yep, which is, stupid shit that occurs in your brain for no reason at times.
Yep.
Couldn't really find anything budget or box office. This is currently available from Severin, and I believe it's coming out. A lot of Severin films show up on Shudder and other streamings after it's been out on disc for a month or so. So I'd watch for it there if you're interested. Directed by Andrew Legge, spelled Legge. So I pulled up the audio commentary to hear him say his own name first. Oh, it's just Legge. Okay. This is his first feature. He's done a bunch of short films, but this first feature he's done. We also had Angeli McFarlane as one of the writers. Andrew also wrote it, but he had first feature writing credit, but produced over 49 projects. So probably part of why they came on board. Starring Emma Appleton, who you probably don't know from The Nuns, lots of TV. Stephanie Martini, The Last Kingdom. I might have seen that one. And also lots of TV. And Theodore Bernazon Legge, whom I'm assuming is related to the director. The film opens with this line. This film appears to be a broadcast from 1941. So the whole movie's a broadcast. Two sisters, Thomasina, who goes by Tom, and Marthea, who goes by Mars, grow up in isolation as orphans in a small house in the English countryside. This was shot in Ireland, I believe. Tom is a talented writer, creating machines, and also creating machines that she calls this one is Lola. And the capability of this machine is to see radio and television signals from the future.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Yes, this now rings a bell.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool. The first time they turn it on and tune it in, they get David Bowie singing Major Tom, which they both enjoy thoroughly. So that's pretty cool. The music in this movie is really, really well done.
Nice.
Really good. After that, they just keep watching things. And of course, they come across the rise of Hitler and decide the world needs to know about, not so much about this machine, but that they're seeing things. So they secretly set up a way to broadcast flights when bombing raids are going to happen and things along those natures. The bombing raids that can't be seen, like tonight's heavy or tomorrow night's heavy cloud cover is going to make it so we cannot see these are coming, but I promise you there's going to be a bombing tomorrow night. And since they're accurate, they really start to get noticed and things brought up a lot about. And of course, can't just leave that alone. Somebody's got to go find out who's doing this and how it's happening. And of course, that's the military. The soldier sees one of the sisters doing something with a tower, putting up some kind of a device, and just thinks it's suspicious. Overall, the writing in this is pretty solid. This one's a little like, I guess we'll jump to conclusions here a little bit, but he follows her and kind of, not too violently, but threateningly gets her to admit what's going on and brings him back to the house. Instead of arresting him and trying to take over the machine, he works it out to where he will stay with them and report back to his higher ups who are not thrilled with this idea, but go along with it because they don't understand the technology. And that's kind of what they want to figure out, is to have him report back to them how it works. So then they can kick them out and take it over. They start with, you have to prove us what you're doing is real. And interesting part's like, okay, we need to come up with something that happens in the future that's not so big that anybody can know it's happened, but not so small that it feels very little. So they actually are picking and choosing through broadcasts that they've heard and say, okay, this is a good medium-sized military operation to let them know about. And they do, and it all works out, and everybody's like, yay! Movie then moves forward with three of the trio getting to know each other a little bit, and one of the women becoming interested in the guy, but that's not hit on too long, so doesn't become a major plot point. They also decide to borrow some future music, so as they start to become a little bit more celebrity because everybody knows who they are now, they're at an event and one of the women sings "You Really Got Me" by the Kinks.
Oh my God.
In a kind of altered version, but it's really good.
Ugh.
And that then becomes a slogan. So there's a bunch of shots of propaganda posters with "You really got me" going on, and it's the production in this film is amazing. The posters they made and the little things they do, and it is so period looking. It's weird.
Mm.
Of course, as they become fans of Bob Dylan, they start singing Bob Dylan stuff a little bit. They didn't do too much of that, but then the movie turns, and they start to realize that these actions have consequences.
Mm.
And I've seen a few changes going on, but the first change that really sends at least the Mars sister over the edge is realizing David Bowie is no longer there when they go to watch that broadcast again.
Uh-oh.
So they don't know if something happened to him or if he just never became much of a singer. And the other big plot point is England finds out about an attack that's going to involve the US, but in order to make it happen, the US has to get attacked, and then England can do what they can do to protect themselves afterwards. So not warning the US about this ship that gets shot down or gets sunk keeps the US from going into the war effort.
Oh.
And so it gets dark after that. It gets really interesting to see how Nazi comes in to kind of take things over and alter stuff. They even have kind of a Nazi David Bowie. He doesn't look like him, but he's sort of singing a song like him, but it's filled with propaganda lyrics now and things like that. It's really, I like this film a lot. It's
Wow.
really smart. It has a couple tech problems that they sort of dealt with because it's kind of a found footage. But it didn't really feel like a found footage, but it kind of is. But there weren't cameras that had sound
Sure.
at that time.
Yeah.
So there's one line, it's like, your camera has sound, and it's like this small handheld, like 16 millimeter
Yeah.
camera. And it's like, that's very small and this has sound. Yeah, I put the sound in the sprox. Like, okay, I mean, we know that's actually how it is done, and how it was created, but it's nice that you're able to do that for your own private
Sure.
project in your home.
Yeah.
It does a really good job of combining time travel, alternate history into kind of a well-worn story that's been told a lot, but with a really interesting twist. It's just different than the other ones in a lot of fun ways.
Hmm.
It was shot in Ireland during the lockdown, which is interesting because they must have not shot it entirely in the lockdown because there's some big ass crowd scenes in parts of this film. But most of it is the three people in the house. So that makes sense. The scenes with the sisters shooting is they are the ones operating the cameras most of the time. It's a 16 millimeter Bolex and Airflex cameras, but they just put lenses from that time period on them. So it looks like something shot then. And then they also did some new newsreels that they used a 35 millimeter camera and Kodak film to make it looks different. And it does. It looks different. It's very cool. Instead of hiring camera people, they just trained the two women to be their own camera operators. So they really are the ones operating the cameras during this stuff. So that was really smart, interesting way. And I don't know, it just makes it feel more like they're both involved. Whoa. Let's see here. Couple quick notes. The film was processed using a Soviet era 16 millimeter developing tank in their home.
Oh,
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah. And Neil Hannon of the Divine Comedy Band wrote the soundtrack and also remixed the Space Oddity and You Really Got Me. Highly recommended if you're interested in either one of those subjects. Or if you're a found footage fan, this is a really interesting take on that kind of movie.
And which country did you say this was set in again?
It was set more in, like, it felt kind of like they were doing London.
Okay.
Pretty sure they're doing London, but it was shot in Ireland.
Okay, gotcha. Huh.
I heard about this film last year, and then I completely forgot the name, and it's called Lola.
Yeah.
That's why. That does not sound like this movie should be called
No.
Eric
Lola.
Clapton's song, isn't it? Or something like that.
Lola.
Or, Weird Al effect.
What did you see this on?
Severin. So it's a Severin
Okay.
disc I picked up.
All right.
They
So-
do these things where they adjust the discs and whatever they're releasing, so you don't get some of the weird. If you don't want any of the extras, you just buy the discs.
Oh, interesting.
It was in the one of 3 or 4 discs. I was like, I want all of those. This sounds cool.
Nice.
Nice.
Much better blind buy than the one I talked about a couple weeks ago.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Definitely want to check that out. Hopefully it will show up on Shudder.
Yeah.
So the movie that I went with is a movie that I think we all checked out a couple years ago when it came out, The Vast of Night from 2019.
Number, please.
Hello? Is this way? Large object holding over my land like a tornado.
This is WOTW Radio in Cayuga, New Mexico, and this is the news for the hour.
Now, what would you like to tell us about yourself?
I don't know.
Cool, aren't you like some big science girl? Tell me about science.
Everett, it's Faye. And the sound came through the board and interrupted your radio show.
What a sound.
What's going on, Everett?
718 here at WOTW. We got a sound we'd like to play that seems to be bouncing around the valley tonight.
Yes, I have a story that might be helpful.
I can tell you what's going on.
The sound we heard out in the desert, it was coming from thousands of feet higher than anything could fly.
They've come here before. They've liked this place. They always have.
It is 7:45 p.m. and we may have something that'll need some before.
We followed it from Cold Canyon. Faye! Who's that? It's Everett. Stop smiling. Well, what's he doing here? He's helping me. Stop smiling.
Get in! It's outside of town! Come on, come on, come on! Hey, come on!
Something's up there now. It's something talking. And they don't stay for long.
Hey,
Everett, take the wheel! What's going on? There's something in the sky.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, this
sounds
was like an Amazon exclusive, like VOD hit that got a lot of love. It's 92% from critics and 66% from audience, which is
weird because
weird.
that's almost the same division I was just talking about.
And I also feel like it's really low from the audience, considering I thought that everybody really enjoyed this.
I think it's a little too highbrow for most people.
That might be it. And there's a lot of talking in this movie because the budget is $700K. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's actually just they do a lot with a little. I'm sort of shocked because it is a period piece. But and it feels great. It feels like they did a good job, but they definitely spent their money in very specific ways. The director, writer, and editor is Andrew Patterson, who has 2 credits to his name. Just this and an upcoming film called The Rivals of Mziah King. The writer, Craig W. Sanger, who's a co-writer on this, this is his only credit. So definitely a couple of no names striking out and seeing what they could do. Starring Sierra McCormick as Faye. She has 40 credits. She was kind of like a kid, a big time kid actor. She did a ton of stuff like Hannah Montana and Supernatural, and then she was a leading character in 62 episodes of Disney's Ant Farm. Since then, I know, I remember having to do some of these for Technicolor. Since then, she's been in VFW, American Horror Story, Edge of Everything, and Last Stop in Yuma County, plus 4 upcoming films. So she's doing just fine. Jake Horowitz, who plays the character Everett in this, is doing a little less well. He's got 15 credits, and he's doing smaller roles in things like Bones and All and Agnes and updated Castle Freak, which I did not see and did not realize it happened.
Not good.
There you go. And he has a lot of short films that he's kind of dabbled into. So the story of this is sometime in the 1950s. They don't really specify when. In a little New Mexican town called Cayuga, there's this teenage whiz kid and disc jockey named Everett who we start off by seeing he walks into a high school where they're prepping for a big game and everybody needs his help. There's kind of a whirlwind follow behind camera shot sequence where people are asking him questions and, hey, Everett, we've got this electrical issue happening. Hey, we've got this recording thing. We've got this one guy says he's having trouble with his trombone and hands him a trombone. And you're like, what is going on? And then this girl who's up in the stand says, hey, I just got this new tape recorder. Do you mind helping me with it? And he says, sure. And he does a kind of walk and talk with her. So he's on his way to WOTW, the station in which he's DJing that night. And Faye is on her way to her job as a switchboard operator. And on the way, he teaches her all about her tape recorder and how to use it. And they just start interviewing random people in cars, people on the street, just so she gets a sense of it. And as they walk, we also learn a lot about these two characters. So Faye is a big science nerd. Now, since this is the 50s, she doesn't have a lot of prospects of doing anything with this science nerdery. She just hopes to get out of this town and go to a larger city where she can get on a larger switchboard operator scene. He also wants to get out of town. But you start to see this really cute interaction happening between the two. And a friendship kind of blossoming. So when Faye gets to the switchboard, she notices she keeps getting these dropped calls. And then she finds one line that has just a strange signal that's happening. She calls up Everett, who offers to broadcast it on air to see if anyone has an idea of where it's coming from. And once he does that, things start to get a little weird. A man named Billy calls who has a military background, and he talks about a classified mission involving some large vessel that made a lot of people very sick, and he had to build like a secret base thing for. And he said that same sound was coming from that vessel. They also get a call from Mabel, an elderly shut-in, who says she knows a lot more about what's going on. So they've got a jet on over there and hear her story, which is very long. It's a very, very, very long story. You're like, Mabel, get it together. Come on. We can't be here all day. But essentially, Mabel had a kid who was hearing things and eventually got abducted, but people thought that she killed him. And she asks, please for them to help take her to see the vessels that are potentially going to be showing up. And sure enough, there are more and more phone calls coming into the switchboard about something, some lights in the sky, something happening out there. And so they grab, for some totally unknown reason, I think they grab Faye's little sister, whose sitter seems to have gone missing. They get a lift from some people towards somewhere. I couldn't quite work out where they were going or why. And then Everett recites this strange incantation that Mabel had given them. And the couple goes into this trance and they start looking at the sky and they nearly get into an accident. So Faye runs out of the car into the woods. Everett's following her. They find a bunch of singe marks in the woods and he thinks that maybe something landed and is lurking there. They go into a clearing and get taken. So this film, I really, really liked it the first time I saw it. The second time through, there's definitely a lot more problems that I saw in it and didn't quite realize the first time. There's a lot of like, why are they doing this? What is the purpose behind it? That's really doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense why they're abducted. They both want to get out of town, but it feels like this might have been a stronger theme if they wanted to leave, or it just feels like there's a strange, and like, why does she have her little sister with her? It just feels at times like I'm not really sure why they're choosing to go the direction they're going, aside from just aesthetic reasons and trying to force an ending. However, the ending is pretty chilling when they get into the clearing and they just see a lurking UFO there. It's creepy. Then we go to the basketball game and come back, and all we see are their footprints and nothing else, with a bunch of like sort of dirt over the side of their recording device. So pretty cool ending there, other than I don't love that they have the kid there. I feel like that's just trying to make it extra creepy, and I don't get that. I do, however, love the fast-paced Gilmore Girl style dialogue. They talk a million miles a minute. I definitely got a lot more by watching it a second time. They also set this up as a sort of alternative Twilight Zone opening, where it's sort of dipping in and out of this idea that maybe this is all a show or an episode of a show. And that's pretty fun, other than occasionally they do cut between we're in a movie world and then go back into the aesthetics of like watching it through a TV screen. And I'm like, I don't know that works as well as, I don't know, maybe they're trying to get around some budgetary concerns. They have a really long oneer, which is super, super fun to see. I think that was something a lot of people were talking about when they first watched this movie, and that's really, really cool. So some trivia. Director Andrew Patterson financed the film himself with earnings from his work producing commercials and shorts for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They redid the gym that we see at the beginning of the film for $20K, and mostly they got rid of the three-point line and the volleyball markings on the floor to make it more back in the 1950s. They also found a working switchboard, which they used for this. It does feel very authentic, the way that it's like she pulls the little wire out and it snaps down, and it just feels really good. The radio station call letters are WOTW as an homage to War of the Worlds. The town's name, Cayuga, is borrowed from Cayuga Productions, Rod Sterling's production company that produced Twilight Zone. There is no such town named this. It was filmed in 17 days. The long take sequence when Faye sends Everett the mysterious signal consists of 4 practical shots with CGI used to create transitions between them. Production assistant Nathan Price drove the go-kart to emphasize the small scale of the town at night, which is pretty cool because I wasn't sure if it was a drone. And the first time I watched it through, I was like, oh, that's gotta be like drone technology. But second time through, I was like, no, there's like definitely like handheld movements, and you can almost feel somebody like walking with it, and it doesn't have that drone feel of smoothness and tilts that we now see. So they really did something neat with that. So yeah, that was. Oh yeah, one final thing. Vastamite premiered at Slam Dance in January 2019. It won the Best Audience Award for Narrative Feature. Amazon picked it up, and it was actually released in drive-in theaters May 15th before it went out on Prime on May 29th. So pretty cool.
That's cool.
I am surprised this was a $700,000 budget.
I know. The costumes alone, the number of people they have in this movie it's a really big number for all the people who they walk between. The crowd for the basketball game is pretty filled. Yeah.
That's cool. Bring in a small town, you can get them to come out and be in your movie.
Totally. It must have been something along those lines. I know it was shot in Texas, but I'm guessing a lot of favors went into this movie.
I remember thinking that it felt almost like a family film, and then the ending was way darker than it should have been for the rest of the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. It feels so quirky, and, Faye is just, just curious and spunky, and Everett is kind of the straight man, but also, fun and smart and whatever. And then all of a sudden you're like, what the hell? Okay. Bye. Enjoy space, I guess.
Okay, been 10 minutes on the buzzer. I chose for my broadcast film from 1983, Videodrome.
Why would anybody watch a scum show like Videodrome? Why did you watch it, Max? Business reasons. Sure. What about the other reasons?
Max Wren is a victim.
I woke up with a headache.
He has been exposed to Videodrome.
I've been hallucinating for a while, ever since...
What?
Since I first saw Videodrome.
His brain is already receiving video images. I think that massive doses of Videodrome signal will ultimately produce and control hallucination to the point that it will change human reality. Soon, his visions will coalesce and become uncontrollable flesh. Videodrome is seducing Max Wren.
Come to me now. Come to Nikki.
And Max Wren can do nothing to stop it.
What makes you think I need help? None of our test subjects has returned to normality.
Television can change your mind. Videodrome will change your body.
Long live the new flesh.
It will shatter your reality. Videodrome, starring Deborah Harry and James Woods. A shocking new vision from the creator of Scanners. Coming soon to a theater near you from Universal Pictures.
Oh, snap.
Budget of $6 million. Box office of $2 million.
Wow.
Oof.
Rotten Tomato critics have it at 83%, and the audience has it at 80%. Written and directed by David Cronenberg, who has 40 credits, including Scanners, The Dead Zone, The Fly, Dead Ringers. And it stars James Woods, who has 148 credits, including Cop, Vampires, Hercules, and The Virgin Suicides. Also includes Debbie Harry, who has 71 credits, including Rock and Rule, Hairspray, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, John Carpenter's Body Bags. She is also the lead singer of the band Blondie. Also stars Sonia Smits, who has 57 credits, including The Pit, The Rings of Saturn, and Better Days. I'm going to assume you've both seen The Glory of Videodrome.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, so James Woods is a petty and annoying man who likes to shoot off his mouth. But in this movie, he plays Max Wren, a petty and annoying president of a UHF television station in Toronto. And they specialize in sensationalist programming. Think Live Leak, but as a TV show. Movies of war footage, car accidents, people getting attacked by animals, that kind of stuff. But Harlan, who is the operator of the station, shows Max something called Videodrome, a broadcast from Malaysia. It is a plotless show that just shows people being violently tortured and even murdered. Basically, it's a snuff TV show. Max is enthralled with Videodrome, mostly because he doesn't believe the people in the show are anything but actors, and he thinks the effects are just super realistic. What he's mostly enthralled with, though, is that it's all shot in one studio, which means it must be very cheap to produce. While being interviewed on another TV show, Max meets Nikki, who is a radio personality, and he starts up a relationship with her. She's fun and kinky, but when she sees Max's copy of Videodrome, she becomes super aroused and super interested in it. And they have a sex scene with Videodrome going on in the background, and he's like cutting her very lightly on her behind her ear and stuff like this. It's a pretty interesting scene. She tells Max that for her business, she's going to Pittsburgh. She becomes super interested in it, and then they find out that it's not coming from Malaysia. It's coming from Pittsburgh.
Oh, snap.
So she tells Max she's going to Pittsburgh for business, but she's also going to audition for Videodrome.
Oh, my God.
He's against this.
Yeah.
But he's starting to get affected by Videodrome himself. He's having hallucinations and stuff. And the best part of it is, as it starts happening to him, it's all clearly in his head, but at some point it becomes real. And after seeing this movie several times, I still can't tell where it becomes real.
No. Yeah.
You know, where the line is. Anyway, he's just obsessed with finding out who's creating Videodrome, and he tracks it down to this elusive media personality called Brian Oblivion. And that's Oblivion, like a Irish name. O apostrophe Oblivion.
Oh, wow.
He thinks Oblivion, or he tracks Oblivion down to his homeless shelter called the Cathode Ray Mission, where vagrants engage in marathon sessions of television viewing. So it looks like a homeless shelter with all these tiny makeshift cubes and everything, but instead of like a little bed and a table, it is a chair and a television set.
Jeez.
And there's just hundreds of these homeless people watching TV. Here he meets Oblivion's daughter, Bianca, and it's difficult to tell what's going on with her. On the surface, she seems to be wanting to fulfill her father's vision, which was a world where television replaces every aspect of your life. But this is a movie where no one can be trusted, and I don't think everybody knows what their own motivation is through a lot of this film, or at least that's how it's played. So you don't know who's in on this and who's not and what side they're on. So I just, watching this, I was like, holy cow, this movie is so cool. It's social satire and commentary, and it's from 83, where we thought, all we had to do to get away from the TV was leave the house. And 40 years later, we're all carrying around a tiny TV in our back pockets. So I'm watching this again, and I'm just blown away by how on point a lot of the plans of some of the people in this movie have come to fruition. So Max finds out that he's being changed by Videodrome. His brain is definitely being changed because of the hallucinations, which are becoming pretty crazy. At one point, he sees Bianca, who had disappeared in Pittsburgh, and he sees her on Videodrome, and she talks to him through the TV set, and her lips fill the entire screen, and he just kind of pushes his head into the screen. It's a really crazy effect because it's not digital or anything. It's a rubber TV screen that they've projected the TV on, and he's pushing his face into it. It's really, really cool looking. And another hallucination, Max, who is now paranoid enough to be wearing a shoulder holster in his home, while he's fiddling around with the gun, a slit opens in his stomach, and he slides the gun inside of himself. Then the slit closes up, and the gun is gone.
Oh, my God.
It's a really great scene because he knows he's hallucinating, but when the slit closes up, he's freaking out and jumping all over the place, lifting up pillows because he's like, where's the fucking gun? Because it can't be inside of him, or can it?
Ooh.
From here, the movie just goes off on this fantastic paranoid body horror journey where Max is getting pulled deeper into Videodrome, but he's also being used by Bianca and Oblivion to go after and kill the creators of Videodrome. Will Max go back to the TV station and turn Harlan's hand into a bloody flesh grenade?
Whoa.
Will Max then head to a trade show at the convention center and attack the creator of Videodrome with his gun now that it has become an organic part of his hand? And will you be able to understand what these two battling factions of organic television are actually trying to accomplish? This question is kind of left up to you, but I will leave you with this thought. Death to Videodrome! Long live the new Flash!
Oh, my God.
This movie is so freaking good, you guys. Every time I see it, I am completely blown away by the sheer filmmaking brilliance of this young director. I don't want to say it's the best horror movie of the 80s, because that's an impossible thing to say. I don't even want to say it's the best Cronenberg film of the 80s, because Scanners, The Dead Zone, The Fly, it's just an amazing film by a brilliant filmmaker at the top of his game. Taglines. First it controls your mind, then it destroys your body.
Ooh, that's good.
Some trivia. David Cronenberg himself has said that everything that happens in the film is really taking place until Max meets Barry Convex at the spectacular optical front. After that, the director stated that things become more complicated.
Thanks. That clears it right up.
Understatement.
During filming of the Cathode Ray Mission sequence, the film's gaffer, Jock Brandis, walked in and casually informed the crew that the power lines to the building were smoking because of the load imposed on them by all the TV sets they were using.
Oops.
It is revealed in the movie that once you have seen the Videodrome signal that the brain tumor begins to form and you begin to hallucinate. Max sees the video signal early on in the movie, so it could be implied that most of the movie is Max hallucinating. Taking it one step farther, the first thing the audience sees is the Videodrome signal. Therefore, it has already affected the audience, and the entire movie is the viewer's hallucination.
Whoa.
Nice.
If you haven't seen Videodrome, you have to see Videodrome. It is spectacular.
I agree with you. It's hard to call it his best, worst, whatever, but it feels like this is the movie that made Cronenberg's kind of style more so than just about anything else.
It's certainly the movie that I think turned his name into a adjective.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You say Cronenbergian, this is what you mean. This
Yeah.
bizarre body horror. There's parts where the slit, which looks like a vagina in his stomach, is also a VHS player of types.
Oh,
because
right.
they put
Right.
organic VHS tapes. Actually, they're Betamax tapes. And
Smaller,
yeah, they put that into his stomach, and that's how they kind of program him with what they need him to do. And there's a scene where he is deprogrammed very violently by a hand coming out of the television set and shooting him.
Right.
And then he's given his new program. And it's just such a bizarre film. And you know that there's nobody. So Cronenberg wrote this and directed it. You know, it could not have been any other combination, right? He couldn't have written this for somebody else, and nobody would have written this and been able to. I'm dying to see what this script actually looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And I also heard that so the way the Canadian Filmmaking Board worked back then, you know, they fund the movies and he was given these grants, but because of the way it works, he had to be working on the film by the end of the year to accept this grant. The script wasn't finished. So they started shooting on a script that was very bare bones, and he was writing it as they were shooting to make sure they could still work in the year. Just amazing that it all came together as well as it did.
Wow. I need to rewatch this, but I also am like, I might give it a minute. Like it's intense.
Your kid's
viewing.
hooked on television now?
Yeah, get
her right on Videodrome.
Maybe,
Oh my God.
maybe so she learns that don't pay too much attention to television.
You would think, but I know she would just be so enamored. She would just be in love with it.
That'd be interesting too.
James Woods has turned into such an angry old man. I love reading his Twitter stuff because he's just an asshole, but he's very funny. So he says these horrible things, but it's always a really funny thing.
I often wonder if it's our reading of it that makes it funny, as opposed to him trying to be funny. If he's just and you read it back, go, that was a joke, right?
No, I think he is. I mean, I think he knows he's an asshole, and he has embraced it. And he's always been a very interesting actor and a smart guy and everything. And he's just like, I'm old and I'm not getting roles anymore, so I don't have to pretend to like anybody.
I don't need to worry about a paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh well. I just had such a good time with this. This is available to rent. It's not streaming anywhere. I own a copy, as I'm sure everybody in this room does, and everybody out there should. So
incredible.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I guess this means it's my pick for the next subgenre.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a wild idea, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work, but the subgenre will be blank in space. So it could be as simple as taking one of the franchises that has gone into space, like Friday the 13th or Leprechaun or something like that, or do yourself a favor and don't grab one of those movies.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
and take the idea of this is this movie in space. For example, Alien has always been called a haunted house movie in space. And so you can do that kind of stuff. Having looked at the options for the franchises that have gone to space, you might want to go the other way.
Find something else.
Sure.
Sort of like Steven Seagal's career post Die Hard. It's Die Hard on a train.
Right.
It's Die Hard on a boat.
Exactly. Exactly right. Yeah. I think that's why I was thinking of this too. I think it was because I saw Under Siege for the first time, you guys.
Oh, I don't.
It's probably his best film.
I was like, why did I sleep on this film? It's amazing.
Yeah. Watching some of his others, they're like, okay, yeah, this is painfully bad martial arts 80s, but Under Siege is a decent film.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was thinking of something like that, and I decided to keep it genre So that's why we're doing it in space.
Awesome.
Nice.
I'm excited to attempt to even think about Googling something on like this.
Yeah.
I am going to get the worst results.
Okay, so that brings us to the point where I say thank you to everyone who is liking and sharing posts, who's participating in the value for value model, which is very simple. If you get some kind of value out of this, and I will assume if you're watching this, you have gotten some kind of value out of this, turn around and give it back. That can be in the form of cash money or spreading the word,
Yes,
getting on the YouTube and making a comment, getting on the Strange Eons Radio Talk page and discussing something. That's all value for value. It helps spread the bandwidth.
Yeah.
And it's fun for us too to see what you guys have to say. And we've gotten some good movie recommendations. I mean, maybe if we don't use them on the show, but we enjoy watching them, still really appreciate that. I mean, it's very cool.
And we've even gotten some art and stuff like that that people have made for us too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be financial. You know, it can be whatever you find would be a fun way to contribute back to us as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. Eric keeps threatening me that we're doing a Patreon at some point, but I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, we'll see.
You should do it.
I don't want to push the idea that there's premium content because every episode is premium content.
That's right. This is as good as we get.
Absolutely
God.
right.
Way to sell it, Kelly.
Yeah, well.
Jesus.
Okay, anything else, guys?
I think
Did you do the phone number?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can reach out at the Strange Eons radio hotline, which is 253-237-4266. Tell us what you thought about our broadcast films.
Yeah, or any other broadcast films that you love or enjoy, or or you just want to yell at us. That's fine too.
Yeah, if you think us making fun of Leprechaun in space or something's bad, let us know why.
All right, gang. That means that we will be back in 7 short days, and we are talking about blank in space. Pigs in space. See you next Thursday.
Transportation and other considerations for Strange Eons Radio produced by Pan Am Airlines. When you think of traveling, think of Pan Am. You can't beat the experience. Guests of Strange Eons Radio stay at Econo Lodge Everett. It's an easy stop on the road, if you know what we mean. Strange Eons Radio is recorded live in front of a studio audience. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a positive review on your favorite podcast app. Sit, Ubu, sit.
All right, you've really hyped it though.